Hi everyone, Ravi this side. Welcome to Engineering Adda. Today in this video, we are going to discuss how we can integrate the Stripe payment gateway in our Spring Boot application. So those who don't know what is Stripe, it is a payment gateway that help you doing the online payment. So let's say you have developed a Spring Boot application and you want to integrate a payment gateway, you can go ahead and integrate this Stripe. It provides various payment methods like wallet, card, debit card, credit card, and others. UPI and all those things are also available. So you can go and integrate it out. So there are so many methods available under the Stripe that you can use for the payment. Okay. So that is what the basic of Stripe. And in this video, we are going to discuss how we can integrate this Stripe in our Spring Boot application. Now, before going to integrate this Stripe in your Spring Boot application, you should have the Stripe account. And you can create a Stripe test account and you can generate the public key and the secret key of the Stripe. There is a video on my channel where I have discussed all those things. So you can watch that video first, create a Stripe account, and then come to this video and try to integrate this Stripe in your Spring Boot application. If you already have this Stripe account and the public and the secret key is there with you, then you can directly watch this video and try to integrate the Stripe in your Spring Boot application. So this is about the video introduction. Now we'll try to go to the next slide to discuss more about this Stripe and then the whole flow that we are going to develop here. So let me try to go to the next slide and discuss about this Stripe. So Stripe is a payment processing platform that allows businesses to accept online payments. It provides a set of APIs that can be used for handling payments, subscription, and more. Stripe supports multiple payment methods, including credit cards, debit cards, and the wallets. Key feature of Stripes are its simple and secure payment integration, supports multiple payment methods, provide fraud prevention and security tools. Subscription management is also there, and real-time payment reporting is also there in the Stripe. So these are the features that you can use of Stripe. Okay, so that is what Stripe is, and these are the key features of Stripe. There are other payment gateway also available like Razorpay. There is a video on my channel where I have discussed how to integrate the Razorpay in Spring Boot application. So you can also watch it out. Based upon your convenience, you can use any of them. Now go to the next slide, and here are the overview of Stripe integration, how we are going to integrate this Stripe in our Spring Boot application. To integrate Stripe with the Spring Boot, we will use the Stripe API to create a checkout session which securely handles payment processing. Okay, and the integration involves the following step. You have to set up a Stripe in your Spring Boot backend. For that, we will try to use the Stripe Maven dependency, create a checkout session using Stripe API, and there is also a front end where we'll try to use the stripe.js to redirect users to the hosted payment page. Okay, everything we are going to discuss, we'll try to also see how we are going to develop those things, so don't worry on that. Okay, now users complete the payment and Stripe return the status. This is the whole set of steps that we are going to perform here. Okay, so first of all, we are going to create a Spring Boot application, and we'll try to use this Stripe public and the private keys and try to create a API in our Spring Boot application that will try to do up real-time payment. And in the front end, we'll try to create a HTML page and we'll use this type.js to redirect users to the hosted payment page. Okay, now once the payment will be done, we'll see the status of the payment. Now go to the next slide, and we'll try to integrate we'll try to develop the backend, and then in the front end, the use of we'll use stripe.js to redirect users to Stripe hosted page, payment page, and this is the script for that. Now for the testing, we can use this card, and we'll also develop couple of success and the failure URLs which will redirect based upon the payment success and the failure. Now go to the next slide, handling payment status. After the payment attempt, Stripe will redirect the user to the success or the cancel URL. Handle the payment confirmation on the success page. Optionally verify the payment status using the session ID to ensure it's successful. So you can use the session ID and go to the Stripe and try to see if the payment is successful or not. With the session ID, you can also check it out. In summary, we can say that Stripe offers an easy to integrate solution for online payments. By using Stripe API and Stripe.js, we can create a seamless experience for the users to pay securely using credit card, debit card, and other methods. This integration involves creating a checkout session on the backend and redirecting users to the Stripe hosted payment page from the front end, ensuring secure and smooth payments. So this is the whole flow. This is what we are going to develop here. So let me try to come out of it and go to the IntelliJ and try to create a Spring Boot application first. So just click on it, go to the new and project, and here you can see we are selecting the Spring Boot. And those who don't know, I'm using the IntelliJ Ultimate version. That is why I'm able to see this option here. If you are not using it out, you can go to the Spring Initializer website and the same page will open up and you can start from there. You can create your application there, download the zip file, unzip it, and then open it in the IDE that you are comfortable in. So here let me try to give the name of project. Let's say Stripe payment gateway. Spring Boot, something like that. Select the Maven here and go next. I'm just going to use the Lombok and the Spring Web, and the Stripe dependency we can Google it out and then use it. So just go to the browser and search for the Stripe here. Let's say Stripe Maven dependency. Just open this. Okay, why it is coming as a 0? Not sure. Just I'm going to use this one. Copy this. Go to the Stripe application and now here go to the pom.xml file, and what you have to do is you have to keep it under the dependency section. So just put it there, load the Maven, and then it will take some time to download your dependency. Now before going to start the development, what I'm going to do is I'm going to configure the public key and the secret of the Stripe. So for that, what you have to do is you have to go to the Stripe dashboard. So in the previous, there is a video on my channel where I have discussed how to create the test account. There itself I have told how to generate or where you can find the public and the secret. So for that, I'm just going to the Stripe, going to log into the Stripe, and then we'll try to have the public and the secret with us. We'll configure it out in our application.properties file and then we can use it. So for that only I just logged in here, and here you can see on the home page itself, you can see for developers publishable key and the secret is there. You can use it. Okay. Now go to your application and let me try to close this one. You can see the Stripe is downloaded. Now go to the source, main, resources, and here you have to find out the application.properties file. Inside this application.properties file, what we are going to do is we are going to configure our public key and the secret of Stripe. So for that, what you can do is you can use this let's say Stripe dot API dot let's say key, and here you can provide that out. Like you can copy the Stripe public key and the secret and then just put it here. This is one of the way, but the secure way is to use the environment variable. That is what we are going to do here. So let's say it is Stripe secret key, and then we have one another Stripe. So to use that thing like this key in the form of environment variables, what you have to do is you have to do some little bit configuration here. So how we can do that? You have to put the dollar and then open and close curly braces, and then you have to provide your key here. So let's say secret key, secret underscore key. Okay, and same thing we have to do for the public key as well. So let's say stripe dot let's say it is public stripe.public.key, and then you have to provide the public key here. So let's say public key. Okay, these two variables you can use, and then you can pass it in the environment variables. So where you can find out the environment variables? You can come here and you can go to the edit configuration, and here you will find the modify option, and there you will find the environment variables, and directly you can put your secret and the public key here itself with these variables. Okay, I will show you how you can do that. So just let's say you have this secret key, copy this out and go to this edit configuration, go to the modify option, select the environment variable here, and then just open this up. Once you will open it, just click on it. Let's say your secret key name is this, and the value you have to put from the Stripe website. So copy this secret key. Once you will click it out, it will come up, and then you can copy it out, come here, and in the value you can put this value. Okay, that is how you have to do. Just click OK, apply, and then OK. The same thing you have to do for the public key as well. So just copy this public key, go to this edit configuration. Again, now this time it will show you, and here you can just click on the plus icon, put the public key as a name, and then go to the this stripe, and then just copy this public key as well. Now come here, in the value you can provide this out, just paste it. Okay, make sure there is a no space. Click OK, apply, and then OK. So we are good now, and we have configured our secret key and the public key. Now the next thing that we have to do is you have to like set up this API key in the configuration. Okay, so how you can do that? So for that we have let's say we have to create a config file. Okay, so where we can create it out, go to the Java, and here you can see we are on the Java. Just right click on it, and here we'll try to create a package called config, and then inside that we'll create a configuration file where we'll try to configure the Stripe secret key. Okay, so just let me try to create this Stripe config class. So I'm going to create the package config, and then Stripe config class. This is a configuration class, so you know that you have to annotate this with @configuration, so that its bin will be created and assigned to the application context. Now we'll try to create a post construct. Before that, what we need to do is we need to have our Stripe key in our variables. So how we can do that? Let's say Stripe private string, let's say Stripe secret key, secret key. We need a secret key, right? We need the secret key to configure here. We don't need the public key. Okay, so make sure you are configuring the secret key. We are going to use the value, and then with the help of value we'll try to have the value from the application.properties file of the Stripe secret key. So you can see this out. Copy this key, go to this Stripe config, paste it here, and once you will try to navigate to this, you can go you will directly go to the application properties file. So this is how you can check that you are pointing to the correct one. Now we have the Stripe secret key with this variable. Inside this variable, now we are going to create a post construct here, and once the application will load, it will automatically try to assign the Stripe key value that we have configured in our application.properties file to this variable. Okay, So for that only we are doing this. So post construct, now public void init, and here we'll try to use stripe dot API key, and inside that API key we need to pass the secret key. So let's say stripe secret key. Okay, so we are good now. We have initialized the stripe API key with the secret key, and once the application will load, it will automatically have the API key. Now what we can do is we are going to create a controller here. Okay, so for that, let's say I'm going to create this stripe controller. Okay, so how you can create, you have to create the package first, and then inside that will create a controller. Okay, so let's say controller dot payment controller. Okay, and this is our controller class, so you need to annotate this with @request controller, and then we also have request controller, and let's say I'm just going to generate something like request mapping, and then provide some class level mapping here. Let's say API payment, something like that. Okay, now we are good, and now what we are going to do is we are going to create a API here. Okay, so that API, I'm just going to create a post API where we'll try to create the checkout session. Okay, so what this API will do, this API will try to create a session for us, session parameters for us. Inside the session parameters, what we'll do, we'll try to set the payment method type, we'll also try to set the payment mode, we'll also set the success URL, cancel URL, and also we'll try to have a test amount, currency, and everything will set in that API by default. And then that API, with the help of the secret key, will call the stripe, and then we'll do the payment with the default values. We are going to set all the payment values by default here inside the API itself to test it out. Okay, later on if you want to like use, or you want to have those values from the user, you can configure it out. You can create a front end and then try to configure it out. As of now, what we are doing is we are just trying to hard code the value and then hit the API to see if it is working or not. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. So we'll create a session parameters. We'll try to create, like we'll try to provide all those details like payment method type, and the success URL, the cancel URLs, and the amount, how much amount we are going to pay for the order, and the currency of that. Everything we are going to provide here in the parameters, and then we'll try to create a session. We'll pass that parameter inside the session, and then with the help of the session, we'll get the session ID, and that is what we are going to return in the response. Okay, so this is what we are going to do in this API. We'll create a parameters. We'll try to have all the details inside the parameters. We'll try to create a session, and then we'll get the session ID and return it in the response. So this is what we are going to do. Okay, so let's get started for that, and let me try to create a API here. So let's say post mapping, and we have, let's say, create checkout session. Okay, this is our API name. Now what is return type? Let's say I'm going to return this as a map of a string of object. Okay, now let's say its name is create checkout session. Now here what we are passing is we are not passing anything because we are hard coding every value, so don't worry on that. Just import this map, and first of all what we are going to do is we are going to create the session create parameters. So we are going to create the parameters first. So for that, I'm just going to use the session create parameter class, and we'll create the object of it. So session create params. Okay, and we have the session create params. Now let's say its name is params, and new session create params you can use, or you can directly use the builder here. So I'm going to use that session create params dot builder, and then I'm going to add all the required details like payment method type and all those things. So let's say I'm going to use the payment method type, and here let's say session create params dot payment method type dot, we have to provide the payment method type. So here let's say you're going to use the card, so you can use the card here. There are so many payment options that you can use. So let's say I'm going to use the card, and let's say another payment method we are going to use. So let's say session create payment params payment method type, and here also you can use some others payment types like where's we'll find it. Let me try to. Okay, you can see there are many of payment method types. You can directly come here and then check it out, or once you'll click on the once we'll try to have your dot, then it will show you the option as well. Let's say I'm going to use this Alipay. Okay, so these two as of now I'm just keeping. You can explore it out and then see how many methods are there. Now we have this payment method type. Now I'm going to set the mode. Set mode. Inside that you have to pass the mode of the payment. Okay, so let's say session create params and then mode dot payment, something like that. Okay, now just I'm going to add the success URL. I'm going to set the success URL and the failure URLs, or cancel URL you can say. So you can see this method set success URL. Here you have to pass the URL where you want to redirect your page once the once your payment is successful. So that you can do, and you have to put it there, and then similar way you can also add the set cancel URL. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the add line item here. Okay, add line item. Inside that you have to create a line item object, or you can say builder, and then you have to set all the testing payment details. Okay, so how we can do that, let me try to show you. So inside this what we can do is session create params dot line item dot builder, and then set price data. Inside this you can use the you again you have to use the price data builder here to set it out. So let's say session create params dot line item dot price data, and then you have to use the builder of it. So dot builder, and then you have to set the currency. Let's say I'm going to set the currency as USD, US dollar, and set unit amount you have to set. So let's say I'm going to use the unit amount as $1. So make sure that when like it will be divided by 100. Okay, so if you have to set the unit as $1, you have to set it as 100. Okay, that is when it will come as a $1, because the amount that you're going to set will be divided by 100. So for that only you have to set the set unit amount as 100. I hope you got it. Now set product data, set product data, and here you have to set the product data here. Okay, so inside that you have to again create the product data builder, and you have to set the product name and all those things. So set product data, and let me try to create that. Session create params dot line item dot price data, product data, and then builder, price data, product data, builder, and then here you have to set the name of the product. So let's say I'm going to set it as a test product, and then you can build it out, and we are good now. Now again come here and try to build this as well, and then you have to come down and then try to build this as well. Before going to build this, I'm just going to set the quantity here, which would be, let's say, 1, and now you have to build this as well. So build it, and then finally you have to build the last one. So many of builders we have used, so that is why we are just closing it out. Okay, now we are good. Now we have the things ready. Now what we have to do is we have to create the session here and pass the parameter that we have created there. So I'm just going to create the session object. Session, import this from the checkout. Session dot create, pass the parameters here. It should be equal to, it's asking for the exception. Just let me try to throw it for now. Or what you can do is you can also try to catch it. Okay, everything is fine. Now we have the session ready. Now what we are going to do is we are going to create a map that we are going to return here. So let's say map of a string of object, and let's say it is response, or you can say result. Anything is fine. Let's say it is a new hash map. Just import this, and we have the response. In the response, or you can say result, we are going to put the session ID, and we are going to get the this thing, session.get ID. Okay, so we are good. Just try to return this as a return response entity, and then dot OK. Inside that we have to return the response, which is result here. Okay, I think we are good, and yeah, we are good. Let me change this to the session ID, and so this is what we are doing here. Okay, so simply we are creating one API. We are setting all the payment modes, and then we are also setting the success and the cancel URL, and then we are creating a payment prototype like currency amount and all those things, and then we are finally returning the session ID here out of this API as a response. So everything look good, and make sure that you have already assigned the initiated this Stripe API key with the secret key, so that internally it will work, right? So we are good. We have created the API. And now what we are going to do is we are going to create the front end. So for the front end, I already have the code ready. I will provide that code in the description of this video, so you can directly go there and watch it out. You can use it. Okay, so what you have to do is you have to go to the resource static, and here you can create a XML. Either it will be like index.xml, something like that. Sorry, HTML, or any name is fine. I have this code ready. I will try to show you what we are doing inside this code. So first thing is, this is a HTML document we have created, and this is what we are using. This is the stripe.js, where all the library of this Stripe will be there. Okay, now here you can see we are creating a checkout button which says pay now, and if you'll go under this Stripe script, you can see that we are using the Stripe public key here. So let me try to change this to the one that we are going to use. So just go to this, copy this, and then let me try to remove this one, paste it, and we are good. So you have to provide the Stripe public key here, and then you can see downside we are calling this API that we have developed, localhost API payments, create checkout session, and then we are whatever things we are getting from that API, we are just trying to create a response out of it and then returning it out. So this is what we are doing here in the front end. Okay, I think it is looking good. Let me try to run this application and then try to test out our API, or you can say our application. Okay, so just wait for a few seconds. You can see our application start running, and it will take few seconds of your time. So just wait for that. Now here you can see these are the options available where you can open your front end. I'm just going to open this on the Chrome, and here you can see we have the pay now button. Now before going to hit it out, let me try to open the developer tools here. Okay, so we are good. Now if you'll try to refresh it out, you can see the things from the Stripe is being loaded here. Why? Because we are using this stripe.js script there. Now just click on the pay now, and then see, you can see it shows some CORS error. Okay, and it says 403. Don't worry on that. Let me try to add some CORS here. So just copy this localhost 6334 to where our front end is up and running, and go to your backend application and try to enable it out. So go to the payment controller, and here itself you can add a CORS cross origin, and inside that you can provide this API base URL, you can say. Okay, we are good. Now rerun this application again and then try to see. And again, let me try to go to this one, and you can see our application is started and we are on this page. Refresh this out, let the things load, and then we can hit this pay now. Just going to hit the pay now, and here you can see we are getting the 200. Okay, but for the first one we get 500. Why it is? Just click pay now again. It is failing. It is failing with a 500 error. Go to the browser, application, and then here in the console you can see that. So it says you passed an empty string for the success URL, and that is why it is not working. So go to the payment controller again, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a success and the failure URL here. So for that I'm just going to create a API. Let's say success public string get success. It will simply return some payment successful, and the same way we are going to create a cancel URL as well. Payment got cancelled, something like that will return that. So let's say cancel and cancel payment cancel. Okay, so these things we have to provide in the methods here. Okay, so you can see set success URL, and there we have to provide this out. So our application is locally up on the port number 8080. So it is HTTP localhost 8080, and then the API base URL, you can say a home URL, API payment, and then the API that we have created, which is success, and the second one would be failure, right? Cancel. So copy this one, come here and put it here, change this to the cancel. Okay, we are good now. Run this application again and try to hit the button. We are good. Go to the browser, try to refresh it out, and we'll hit the pay now again, and then see how it is working. So just load it, click on the pay now, and this time spending. Let's see what is working. Okay, so you can see that the payment gateway is enabled now, and we are able to see the payment gateway here. You can see we are only able to get the payment method as a card and the Alipay. And this is what we have set here as a sorry, and this is what we have set here as a payment methods. Okay, so that is why we are getting this. Now I'm going to use this card to do the payment, and if you go to this PPT, you can see that we have already listed out one of the testing card details. So here I'm going to use that one, and let's say it is 0 to 28. Any future date is fine. 1 to 3. Let's say test. Anything is fine. Let's say now you have to provide the test at the rate gmail.com. Any random value I'm just providing here. Make sure the format is correct. Now just processing the payment, and you can see that payment is done, and we are routed back to the payment successful API. So this is how you can integrate the Stripe in your Spring Boot application for the payment enablement. Okay, so this is about the video, guys. Now let me show you again here. If you'll go to the Stripe dashboard, and if you'll go down, you will see that whatever payment you did, it will be reflecting here in your dashboard. So I'm just refreshing it out. Wait for a few seconds. You can see that gross volume is $1, and this is what we did as a payment, and it is reflecting today. I'm not sure why the previous date is being displayed here, which is saying December 4. But yeah, this is how you can check out your payment done on the dashboard. Okay, so this is how you can integrate the Spring Boot, integrate this Stripe in your Spring Boot application for the payment gateway. This is about the video, guys. If you like the video, please hit the like button and please subscribe the channel for more such content. Thanks.